time is now. In the present scenario, physician education and training needs to keep pace with innovation and technological breakthroughs. Professor Vinay Kumar is one of the few people who set out to change the dynamics of medical education by instituting a level of quality and efficiency that remains unparalleled. So now, please welcome Professor Vinay Kumar with a warm round of applause.
To chair a prestigious session by a person none other than Professor Vinay Kumar. Actually, it's an enormous task to sum up his contribution in few lines. But as the tradition follows, I shall read out his brief CV provided to me by the Pathology department. Professor Vinay Kumar is a colossal figure in the field of pathology. He is known to medical students worldwide as chief editor of the prestigious textbook, as Bushra has already said. Professor Vinay Kumar is presently the journalist and principal professor and chairman, Department of Pathology, Biological Science Division and the Principal School of Medicine, University of Chicago, USA. He has also held several other eminent academic positions throughout his illustrious medical career. Professor Kumar has to his credit more than 150 original articles in the scientific journals, a dozen books, chapters, and nearly 20 review articles. His undergraduate career has been equally outstanding. He was named Best Medical Graduate and was awarded the Pfizer Award and Gold Medal for highest achievement as a medical student. He obtained his MD Pathology degree from All India Institute of Medical Sciences and also completed his PhD in Experimental Pathology from the same institute, where he was awarded as Khanolkar Prize for Outstanding Research in Pathology. Professor Kumar is a passionate teacher and an equally passionate researcher, being an authority on natural killer cells. He has lectured throughout the US and Europe, served on the editorial board of several journals, including the Journal of Immunology, and has recently completed his term as president of the American Society of Investigative Pathology. With this brief investigation, may I request Professor Kumar to give his keynote address on a very important topic on medical education.
Thank you. Thank you all very, very much. I wish I could acknowledge everybody personally and individually, but I'm getting old and my memory is not as good. So thank you all, one and everybody, senior people, junior people, for giving me this honor, giving me this privilege. As I said in the morning, you can take me outside India, but you can't take India outside me. So I keep on coming, and this is my first visit to this institution. I'm already sort of extremely excited and impressed by not just the personal reception, but also in talking to people, you know, that deep interest in improving medical education. And Aligarh has always been a place of scholarship. You know, it's well known as one of the leading scholarly institutions, having produced many luminaries. But I will not recite all of those because you know them all. And just once again, thank you for inviting me. And so we'll get to the point that I talked about in the lecture. So as mentioned, you know, I'm very it's not just that I write Robbins textbooks, but I'm also very deeply interested in improving education worldwide, and particularly in India. So in this I will give you my vision and show you some really exciting novel technology, which is the unique aspect of that is it is not being prepared for use in the US, it's being prepared for use in India. And hopefully sometime next year it will be available to almost everybody in India for use at their own institutions. Is the mic working with the guy? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, good. All right. So let's just move. Okay, so there is some software that I will show you here, but I'm just more able to know that I actually have no financial or commercial interest in the software that we are using for developing the program. And I dedicate this to my two mentors at the College of Medical Sciences, Dr. Swami, who inspired me to be a physician scientist, and Dr. N.G. Dev, who's still alive and retired, but not really retired, who sort of gave me this feeling and believe that if you really want to do something, nothing is impossible. So this is the outline of my presentation. India faces challenges in medical education both in quality and quantity. Unfortunately, the government is thinking of quantity and nobody is thinking of quality. Opening up 10 new AIMS and 50 new medical colleges and with people who are not competent physicians is actually a worse thing than not having them, because they drain on the national resources and yet we are actually not putting it to very good use. And I believe that in a country like India, where we are resource constricted both in human capital and other capital, we have to harness technology. And technology can be a powerful enabler of medical education, and that is what I hope to illustrate to you here. And I will give you examples of innovation in technology-driven systems, and I'll propose a roadmap to improve medical education and care in India. So here is the problem. The problem is this, that according to the Medical Council of India and WHO, for India to reach a ratio of 1 doctor to 1,000 population, which is still less than many Western countries, requires by 2030 that there be roughly 1.6 million new doctors to be trained. Not just 1.6 million new doctors, but 1.6 million new and competent doctors have to be trained. This is a huge challenge. This is a huge challenge. We have to ask ourselves, how are we going to do this thing? Good wishes, good intent, and even money is not enough. If we don't think of how we will actually develop this, deploy this, who is suddenly going to have hundreds of thousands of professors to teach? Where will they come from? You all know what's happening right now. Okay? So I think technology will be very important, but we have to also change how we think about education. And I'll spend the first part talking about it. So here are the challenges that we face in medical education. Practice of medicine requires synthesis of a vast amount of information, yet in a traditional discipline-based medical school curriculum, the information provided in disconnected pieces and out of clinical context. Students go to anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, they actually feel, why am I wasting my time? Right? Okay? Why am I wasting my time? Because it is provided non-integrated and out of clinical context. So we need an integrated case-based therapy. And the emphasis in medical education has to change from stuffing facts to acquisition of lifelong learning skills and competence to solve problems, because facts will keep on changing. And furthermore, in today's world, getting facts is very easy. I can get on my iPhone within a second. All of us do this thing. Or go to www.uptodate.com. Within seconds, you have the latest medical information. So what's the point in trying to make people memorize? What we don't teach them is how to get new information. After 10 years, 15 years, the graduates of today will practice the next 30 or 40 years. Will they be competent doctors in 10 years from now or 15 years from now if they have not learned how to learn for lifelong? And in this change paradigm, the student's role is changing from student has to gather information in a guided way from a variety of sources available 24/7. As I said, Google, okay, PubMed, up to date. And the student has to be taught how to apply the knowledge. Collecting knowledge is no longer very difficult. And the faculty have to change. Instead of being the fountain of facts, they have to be facilitators of problem solving, not repetition of what's in the book. In fact, medical schools, you just ask them, honestly, tell me, what did you find in this lecture? They will tell you 80 to 90% I could have got from one of the textbooks that you give. So what is the point in, if you start ABC in the lecture, lung cancer has 4 types. Anybody can read lung cancer has 4 different types. Okay? Yeah, the pregnancy-induced hypertension, there are very specific forms of it, this and this. But we don't teach them this. We teach them 50 causes of chest pain. But we don't teach them when a patient comes with chest pain, what to do. The MBBS doctor, including myself with all medals and everything I had, totally incompetent when I finished when you finish MBBS training. That is why everybody is rushing towards PG, because we have failed to produce a competent MBBS doctor, and from after second professional, they are mucking up for their PG exams, correct? And they lose out on the years that follow. So rather than blaming the students, we should ask ourselves, today in India, people feel if they are not MD, they are not competent. Neither the public feels that, nor the doctor feels that. Familiar with this? You know, I was talking to Chief Secretary of Education in Delhi about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was talking to him about what I just told you. He said, "Doctor साहब, आपने सीरियस देखी है?" मैंने कहा नहीं देखी। फिर आप जाके देखो, बिल्कुल वही हाल है, जो उसका है वही हाल है। So you know about this. You have to change from here to here. Active learning, analysis, synthesis, interpretation, and problem solving. That's the transition we have to make. So how do we manage this challenge? One method is to create a standardized, competency-driven, case-based method of medical education that will be delivered to every medical student, rich or poor, urban or rural, by using electronics and technology. And broadband is rapidly, going in India at the concealed level now. there is broadband available of some level. And another 2 or 3 years, we are Dr. Sanjay Bedi is sitting there. Am I correct? Yes. Okay. So we have the technology now. Okay. Technology should be a democratizing force. Technology should make people equal. Right now, some people are unequal because they don't have access. And I think as medical educators, it is our moral and sacred responsibility that we don't cater only to the elite who live in cities and who can afford to come to medical colleges. And technology is a multiplier effect, which means that you could have a program created by a group of highly competent professionals, and then you can disseminate to 100,000 people without the person having to go to every place after that. That's a multiplier effect that technology has. So there is a lot of technology being developed for this thing, and there's one which I have personally been very attracted to and got involved about 2 years ago, and this is called the iHuman program. The iHuman program simulates a complete virtual patient encounter. I will show it to you. It enables integration of basic science, active learning exercises within the clinical context in the patient encounter. So this can be used for teaching people from the day they enter the medical college. It's not a substitute for bedside treating. People often ask me this question, oh, that means people will not go to the ward? No. Do we allow pilots to fly planes without being passed in a simulation test? We don't. We let students, without any prior simulation practice, go on the wards. How can it be? How can it be? A pilot is flying only 200 people. A doctor is taking off 100,000 people. And this program dynamically assesses student competency in various forms, which I will show you. Okay, so the student is asked to log on, and a patient appears. The student can take, I'll show you. Okay. And take patient history, do physical exam, order tests, make differential diagnosis, make treatment plan, and follow up, etc., etc. So let's see this. Where is the? I need the mouse.
This screencast provides an overview of some of the major features of the iHuman Case Player. The iHuman Case Player simulates a complete patient encounter, from taking a history, assessing vital signs, performing physical examinations, ordering and reviewing tests, and developing a treatment plan. Information acquired through the patient history and physical exam form the basis of initial diagnostic reasoning. Conclusions will be faulty unless you start with accurate data. So the prerequisite for obtaining valid data is well-developed interviewing and physical examination skills. Your patient interview begins with your first impression, even before you ask the first question. How does your patient look, move, and sound? One is a thin young man with an intermittent dry cough. Ask, why are you seeking medical help today? If he says something that strikes you as relevant to his diagnosis, add it as a problem cue. Questions in italics with a blank require that you select a qualifier from the drop-down menu. Since one said that he is concerned about his cough and being tired and short of breath, select difficulty breathing from the menu, then ask him to tell you more about that symptom. Questions are organized in this menu tree according to the taxonomy used in most physical exam and history-taking textbooks. You can turn off the sound of your patient's breathing so that you're not too distracted through the rest of the interview. You can also search for questions. Let's find questions about your patient's cough. Document your findings in the patient record.
So I just want to point out that in the history taking, it's not an MCQ.
The patient record contains history,
there are thousands of questions there.
Past medical history, family and social history, review of systems, vitals, physical exam findings, differential diagnosis, and treatment plan. Additionally, it will include records from any prior visits. Notice this icon at the bottom of the screen. You must click on it if it is highlighted. It will take you to active learning exercises or simulations relevant to this case. The history evaluation covers whether you asked all the required and pivotal questions, no irrelevant or inappropriate questions, and whether you let the patient complete their initial story. Student performance is evaluated at each step in the patient assessment process.
So, the commentary was for us, which is not from the student. The student just gets the case. And the software keeps track of what questions the student asked, in what sequence the questions were asked, was it logical or illogical. Okay? If the patient says, no, I have cough, in the next question the student asks is, do you have back pain? Okay? That will be sort of an irrelevant question. Okay? You'll get an answer. Okay? But the software is keeping track. Software is keeping track whether the student proceeds in a logical decision tree system or just sort of, randomly. And you can't master this thing by MCQs because there are thousands and thousands of questions that you have to choose from. So let's go to the next now. Exams, and I'll quickly sort of take you through that. Student can measure the blood pressure, examine the oculomotor nerve, auscultate the lungs, and let's just see now an example of that.
Watch the patient's chest rise and fall and listen to his breathing. Watch the patient's chest rise and fall and listen to his breathing. Click on the question mark to get help on how to assess vital signs. Your patient's respirations are regular and unlabored at approximately 20.
The patient has to count the respirations and make a note. The rate, regular, irregular, any abnormality detected?
Mute the sound of your patient's breathing. Click on the sphygmomanometer to take your patient's blood pressure. Pump up the cuff by clicking repeatedly on the bulb. Release the pressure by clicking on the release valve.
The software is keeping track as to up to what pressure it was pumped.
Your patient's blood pressure is
It's exactly as you would do it.
This is borderline hypotensive.
So you can create a patient with hypertension, you can create a patient with normal blood pressure, you can create a patient with shock.
Move your cursor to your patient's left wrist to check his pulse. Note that your cursor turns into a gloved hand. Count for a bit. His pulse is regularly irregular at approximately 90 beats per minute. There are 12 different pulse points.
How often do we tell the students that pulse is not just from the wrist? There are important diseases which can be almost diagnosed by taking pulses at different places. Which physician has the time to go to the ward rounds and teach to do the physical exam in this degree of comprehensiveness?
Document the pulse rate and irregularity, and that the findings are a problem cue.
Everything that the student says is significant comes down to the left side. It becomes a part of
Next,
the
perform
chart.
a few physical exam. Select Examine Pupils in the heat category.
Any cranial nerve can be examined.
Pick up the light pen and shine it into each eye. Both eyes are reactive and consensual.
We can create a situation when one side, the pupil, is not reacting to light.
Select Perform Ocular Motor Exam. Move your finger in the H pattern while observing his eye movements. His eyes track normally.
So, very simple to create oculomotor nerve palsy.
Select Auscultate Lungs in the chest category. Select the leftmost icon below the sphygmomanometer dial will highlight anatomical auscultation landmarks. Move your stethoscope to the desired locations and click to listen.
So this can be used in training mode or testing mode. In training mode, the student gets all those spots. That these are places you have to auscultate. In testing mode, this is not provided.
Your patient has fine crackles in the bases of both lungs. Note this is a problem cue. Document the selected findings in the physical exam section of the patient record.
Okay, so I want you to sort of pay some attention to this. So in real time, as the student is taking history or doing physical exam, there is at the bottom a button called Evaluate. That Evaluate button is available only in the training mode. Okay? So, okay. So, although you probably can't read it very well, so at each step in the training mode, there's an icon called Evaluate. And when the student hits the Evaluate icon, gets immediate feedback saying, green bullet items, these questions that you asked were correct. Red bullet item, these questions you asked, you're wrong. Gray bullet item, question that you should have asked but you did not even ask. Okay. So it's based on intelligence in the back. Now, who has made that intelligence? That has been made by a consortium of 15 to 30 internists or people who are experts in that particular disease. So it is not one person's opinion. It's an opinion of a group, as if you all of medicine department got together and say, these are the right questions, this is the right sequence for it. And I'll tell you how we are doing it. I think this is still misbehaving, but anyway, I think you can hear me.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me at the back? Yes, yes. Okay, so built into this are basic science. That's what I said, integration. So if the patient has a cardiac problem or something, from an icon on that patient's image, you can click on this and you get a basic science exercise.
Underlying the virtual patient is a sophisticated mathematical computer model that can dynamically simulate discrete and integrated human organ system physiology, pathophysiology, and treatment interventions. Exercises can include high-resolution...
You could change the heart rate, you could change the end-diastolic pressure, you could change the systolic pressure, you could make it right, and see what happens.
Functioning of the heart correlated with the ECG and the volume and pressure of the left atria and ventricle. These are just a few of the active learning and simulation exercises contained in the iHuman interactive human cases.
In this exercise, the student is going to be asked, what will happen if efferent arterial pressure increases to various renal parameters, total resistance, renal blood flow, and glomerular hydrostatic pressure.
Look at Edgar's central angiogram. There is marked constriction of the right renal artery. Associated with the central angiogram are prediction table exercises with interactive simulations of renal hemodynamics. Prediction table exercises require you to build a mental model by making predictions about the behavior of a system. To test the correctness of your model by comparing your predictions against a simulation of that system, and to refine your model by comparing your predictions to the actual outcomes. The first exercise requires that you predict how an increase in efferent arterial resistance will affect total renal circulatory resistance, blood flow, and glomerular hydrostatic pressure.
So the first, the student says, this will go up, this will go down, this will happen. Then he starts the experiment there by dialing the caliber of the efferent arteriole and raising the pressure.
Document your findings and compare them to your
And then sees the observations. And then compares the observations with his or her predictions. And then you hit evaluate and you get an evaluation. Unfortunately, the text is not coming very sharp on the screen. There's the screen resolution problem there. But I think, or even though you can't see all the colors and so on and so forth, I hope you can see the basic image.
Independent factors in order to answer the question.
You can put up this slide. That will improve. That will improve the result.
Okay, so this is a group of pathologists. The virtual microscopy can be built into it. With a proper projection equipment and resolution, it looks just exactly like you're looking at a slide. Okay, so I think there are no more videos, I think. So this is very important. I want you to pay attention to this thing. So the student has completed the case. Full screen mode, man? The student has completed the case. And now the student is getting evaluation. Okay? I told you that throughout the software is constantly keeping track of what is happening. So the student sees this now for patient history. Okay? There are two circles here. There's a Venn diagram. You can't read this thing. Yellow is the group of questions that the student asked in the history. Blue is the circle of questions that the expert committee thought should have been asked in this case. Not just the number, but also the sequence. Okay? Now the student sees, okay, these are overlapping, so that means I asked the right questions. Now the student can click on this part and see which questions he or she asked, which the expert did not think was required, and click on this part and see what the expert thought should have been asked and he did not ask. Okay. So one practical importance of this is, if the whole class, furthermore, the student can actually see how long it took for him or her to finish the history, and then the student can see comparison with the rest of the entire class, the average of the entire class. Okay, anonymized obviously. Now this is very important for the teacher also. They can see how the class is doing. So you don't have to be in a small medical college to see this thing. You could be sitting in Aligarh and seeing how those people are doing there. And one of your faculty goes there. I mean, there are various ways of doing this thing. I'm not saying that you can have completely physician-free, doctor-free training medical schools, but you can make one person go much further, one paid person go much further than is possible by physically going there. Physical exam, student did very well, asked more questions than the expert wanted, but pretty much covered everything the expert wanted. Okay? Same thing, diagnostic reasoning, test results, diagnosis, treatment type, everything is being charted out. Okay? And the other advantage of this is, now if the lecturer sees there's a pattern in the class where many students are missing a set of questions, then the lecture is no longer A, B, C, D, E. The lecture now is this: class, it seems like when you were taking history of this patient who had benign essential hypertension, all of you seem not to have asked any question about predisposing conditions or based on the age and so on and so forth, the secondary or primary hypertension. So let us discuss that a little bit more. Rather than discussing things that you already know, the student knows. By their, not that they memorized it, but by their behavior, by their way of interaction with a simulated patient. Okay? So the lectures no longer are, as I said, recitation of the textbook. Lectures become problem-solving exercises. People say you can't do problem-solving exercises in a big class like this. Absolutely wrong. I have gone and done it. I spent a day at college and I did a problem-solving exercise in a class of 200. You divide them into 20 groups. It's called the restaurant approach. 20 groups, and then you say, I'm going to ask, group number 7, Rishabh, explain this thing. It can be done. So, simulation meant for students. If you decide that the MBBS doctor should be familiar with these 150 cases, you can't guarantee that. Whether they will go and see the case depends upon when their ward rotation is, and if at that time there is no case of aortic stenosis, they have not seen it. But you can take all the must-know things and prepare cases of those. So this way, it is not left to chance. Okay? So it's not data based on hit or miss. Yes. Okay. not a hit or miss scenario. Everybody will get to see everything and standardize. So if you have 150 standardized cases, Aligarh can see it, Muzaffarnagar can see it, Lucknow can see it, Allahabad can see it, Chennai can see it, anybody can see it. And it provides clinical context and rationale for learning basic science and behavior. So what I showed you two examples was that for each sort of patient, let's say the patient has COPD, then you click on it, the basic science exercises, lung physiology. That, FEV1, FEV1C, total lung capacity, diffusion capacity, electrolytes, everything that you want the student to know in the context of the disease. Now you're teaching basic sciences in the context of a real patient. And the student says, yes, I have to know this. And it's a vehicle for reviewing basic science concepts in clinical years and provides skills competency assessment. It is not what you know, but what you can do with your knowledge that matters. Now here, memorization is not going to help you. You have to learn how to use the fact and think in a logical and a creative way. For instructor can be assured that the student will be exposed to whatever you consider must-know clinical encounters, as I just explained. Prepares students for actual patient encounters. It is not a substitute for bedside teaching. People often mistake and say, oh, how are people going to just learn from computer? No. The idea is not to replace going to the wards. The idea is to prepare them much better, so that when they are on the wards, they are doing more advanced level thinking than learning how to take the pulse. It's already been taught. And in the training mode, students can play the case 100 times if they want to, if they don't get it. So you also allow people to learn at their own pace. Rather than, you gave a lecture disappeared, samajh aaya, aa gaya, nahi aaya. It also enables integrated organ system and problem-based curriculum. Now you can actually make integrated curriculum because you are starting with a patient. You can integrate pharmacology, physiology, biochemistry, anatomy, pathology, anything you want. And in fact, you can use the places where these cases are being used, they start from first year. In the first year, they don't take them to differential diagnosis. They take them to a little history, a little physical examination, and then they click on the basic science exercise. Okay? And then you take the same case and you can change the level of difficulty, you can change additional things. Now it's good for a third year student. Now it's good for a final year student. Now it is good for an intern. Now it is good for a practicing doctor. This is also a tool. American Medical Association is planning to use this as a tool for continuing medical education of physicians and recertification. I think that you've heard about Vision 2015, articulated by Medical Council of India, and which says increase active, self and team-directed learning experience. Here is one method by you can do this. I'm not saying this is the only method. I'm not saying because I've come from America, I have some magic that that can be done in India. I'm talking about principles and availability of technology. I never believe that 15 people sitting in America can make the curriculum for India. That's nonsense. It has to be people from within the country, and there can be a collaboration. It can build capacity to address the physician shortage, I just mentioned to you earlier. iHuman is user-centric. The same virtual case with program variations can be used for medical students, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. You can use it to train nurses. You just change the software. And by the way, the authoring tool made for this is so simple, anybody can talk how to make a case, alter a case, put something else in it. With 8 hours of practice, no program is required. It's a click and point system of authoring. And iHuman focuses on acquisition of competencies and not on the time it takes to accomplish them. Thus, in principle, not every student has to graduate at the same time. This sounds revolutionary, but actually people are thinking about seriously in America, where the cost of education is very high. So if you can say, this patient, this student is competent now, we've seen is competent to go through all these things, and then you take a little exam, viva or something on the, with a real patient and so on and so forth. The student does everything. Somebody does it in 3.5 years, somebody does it in 4 years. Somebody does it in 5 years. This idea seems revolutionary, but I'm telling you it is coming. It is already coming in college education in the US because of massive online open courses there are, for which you even get a certification. The student says, why should I go to the university and pay $40,000 a year as a fee? You tell me which courses and certifications you want, I'll do it, and if I do it, then you'll accept. If I'm a Harvard College student, this is a Stanford course. Stanford is as good as anything else. I have passed the Stanford statistics course. I will not come to the class to take the Harvard statistics course. It's actually causing a very serious thing, rethinking in America, not just medical education, but education in general. So, where are we right now? So in 2012, I started sort of working with the way it happened was the software company made the platform, and they came to us in University of Chicago and said, we want content. We can tell you what can be done. Okay? Now you have to make the cases because you are the teachers. You are the doctors, we are not. The software people are actually very, very smart, okay, to have even thought of doing all of that. So when they came, the question was money. So who has the money to do this? So I went to American Medical Association and made a presentation to Board of Trustees, and they said, okay, we'll give you $200,000, make some pilot cases. So we got 15 people from various medical schools in the US. We said, we'll make it. And then, my, of course, passion was that this is a technology which should be available in India. If anybody needs it, India needs it far more than America needs it. Where the resources are more, trained workforce is more, okay, doctor-patient ratio is already fairly good. So I won't tell you, it took 3 years. I went and knocked at the door of every ministry, every minister, every health secretary, Medical Council of India, etc., etc., etc. वो सब कहते हैं डॉक्टर साहब बड़ा अच्छा प्रोग्राम है, आप MCI वालों के पास जाओ. MCI वाले कहते हैं डॉक्टर साहब बहुत अच्छा प्रोग्राम है, आप ऐसे करें वो हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री में जाएं. हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री में गया मिस्टर प्रधान, चीफ प्रिंसिपल हेल्थ सेक्रेटरी और 6-7 जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी सुना उन्होंने 1 घंटे सुते कहले डॉक्टर साहब बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन इसको तो नेक्स्ट 5 ईयर प्लान में डालना पड़ेगा. फिर प्लानिंग कमीशन के पास जाएगा, फिर नेक्स्ट 5 ईयर प्लान में जाएगा. Then one person in the government said, डॉक्टर साहब ऐसे आप तो ज़ाया कर रहे हो, आप प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जाओ. प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जाओ, वो लोग कहते हैं प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेज वाले जो है उससे पैसे लो और बना. मैंने कहा बना दूंगा, तो फिर आम आदमी को कैसे मिलेगा? They will have commercial interest. They want to sell the product. They won't distribute the product free. So anyway, after going through, if you stop knocking at doors, there is no chance that a door will ever open. So I knocked about 30, 40, 50 doors, and then a door opened. And a philanthropic foundation said, "This is wonderful. We'll give you $10.5 million to take 150 cases of what you would consider must-know knowledge." Okay, and that also gave money for making an advanced platform, which is the platform that I showed you is a like 5-year-old demo. Okay, now the platform is far more sophisticated, far more natural. Voice recognition is being put into it. Right now it was you ask the question and the answer is printed. Voice recognition adaptable to tablets and smartphones. Okay, and diagnostic algorithms. So cases are being created by a team of 14 US-based and 14 India-based medical educators. Equal number. We had first face-to-face meeting in October 2014, in which we spent 3 days, talking to each other. So the way it works is this: the outline, the skeleton of the case is made by a US educator, and then it comes to India and goes to the partner of that person. They modify. They say, okay, we don't ask questions like this. We ask questions like this. These are the type of things are culturally different here, so we won't ask it this way, but we'll ask it this way. and ordering tests, we will not order the first test to be this, it will be this. So all that feedback is gone, and it will be incorporated into the cases. And the program will be completed in March of 2016. Okay? The foundation has supported this thing because the foundation wants to distribute the cases in India at no or nominal cost. So nobody makes money in the process. Okay? Not the case writers, not me, not the University of Chicago, which owns intellectual property of this, has said we will not take anything for use in India because it is being done in a non-profit basis. If you are going to sell it there, we will want a piece, royalty. But since you are doing it free, it's for public good, you can do it. But the same cases will also be used in the US with modification. There, people will have to pay. The university will get royalty, the software company will get its profits and margins and so on and so forth. But even then, the cost, if I tell you, you'll be shocked how little it is. $300 per student per year. $300. वो तो इंडिया में भी अफोर्ड कर सकता है. जो 7-10 लाख ट्यूशन देता है, वो $300 भी अफोर्ड करता है. But in the US, the model is not the student who's paying it; it's the medical school that's paying it for all the students. The annual tuition fee for a medical student in the US is $40,000. $300 तो हाथ में मिल नहीं. So there is a lot of enthusiasm. Some prototypes have already been created and they are being worked on. And I think about in July or August or so, there will be prototypes available for use piloting in India. But it will all be done through the foundation. Okay? And the people that we have collected outstanding people from CMC Aligarh, from Manipal, from KEM, from PGI, from Calcutta, from Bhopal, and it spans all the geographic parts of the country. And I can tell you, I was so surprised. Hindustan में किसी को email भेजा तो साल भर जवाब ही नहीं आता उसका. Sorry. Okay. These 14 people, we told them at 1 month's notice that you have to come to Mumbai on 15th and 16th and meet everybody. 100%. 15 लोगों में से 14 ने कहा मैं आ सकता. They've already given their first assignment. They were told the deadline is November 15th. November 15th, all the tasks. We have a very rigid schedule. Everybody knows the next milestone is this day, and this is what has to be done by that time. Everybody is doing it enthusiastically. It is so heartening to see because people actually see, they can see what they are doing is going to make a difference. So, we can do all these things and fail because if the final exam is based on memory and memory and memory, the students will say, okay? That is something which has not yet happened. People tried and sort of it went to Supreme Court and they kicked them out again. But people are, there are thoughtful people who are still trying them. I know Bipin Batra very well. Bipin is the executive secretary of the National Board of Examiners, who gave the first computerized national and NEET exam. The other thing that I want to sort of emphasize is this. India doesn't have to reach world standards slowly and incrementally. Technology will allow leapfrogging as in cell phone technology. The cell phone that I have in India is far more advanced than the cell phone that I have in the US. My cell phone in India has place for 2 SIM cards. One I have Vodafone, one I have Airtel. When I am in Mumbai, I use Vodafone. When I am in Delhi, North India, I use Airtel. You can't get that in here. So, कई बार लोग कहते हैं, अरे डॉक्टर साहब यहाँ हेल्थ केयर की इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, आप ये बात कर रहे हो, यहाँ तो पानी साफ पीने वाला भी नहीं, ये तो बात की बात है. तो मैं उनसे पूछता हूँ कि did India have to wait for the last bullock cart to go away before they went into space? No. Bullock carts are still there. We are also in the space. And the space technology has benefited the masses. Whether satellites are being launched, space technology is finding application in other things. The farmer can actually see कि अगले 6 दिन का weather क्या है. The farmer can see कि मंडी में कल कहते हैं गेहूं जो है वो किस भाव से बिका था, जाना है कि नहीं जाना मैंने. All because of weather satellites. India now starts launching commercial satellites for other countries. So the motto is this: we don't have to wait for the bullock cart to go away before we think of moving forward. It's not a question of either or, it's a question of and. We have to provide clean drinking water, and we also have to provide high-tech, high-quality medical education. These are not mutually exclusive. They are both required, and they're both equally important. As medical educators, we can't go and provide clean water, but we can do this. This is our share. This is our part for the country. And you can read it yourself. अब मैं आपसे कुछ सवाल पूछता हूँ. मेरे दोस्तों, मेरे हमसफर, मेरे दोस्तों, थोड़ा ध्यान दो, थोड़ा सोचो, थोड़ा सुनो. भारत का गरीब आदमी आपको बुला रहा है. वो आदमी जो अपोलो, मैक्स और फोर्टिस को सिर्फ बाहर से देख सकता है. क्या आप उसकी आवाज को अनसुनी कर दोगे? क्या आप उसकी दशा से छुपने के लिए अपनी आंखों को बंद कर दोगे? बाइबल में लिखा है, to those whom much is given, much is expected. Everybody sitting in this room, much has been given, and much is expected. And Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. अगर आप चाहते हैं कि लोग स्वच्छ रहें, तो आप स्वच्छ हो. अगर आप चाहते हैं कि लोग अपनी वाटर जो है उसको बॉयल करके पिए प्यूरिफिकेशन के लिए, तो आप भी करो. So you can't stand and give a lecture and say do this thing and then don't do it yourself. You can't tell students that you should be compassionate and empathetic and professionalism and so on and so forth, but then you say to a patient, शाम को मेरी क्लिनिक में आ जाना, बहुत अच्छा इलाज होगा. सही है ना बात? अगर आप स्टूडेंट के सामने झूठ बोलेंगे, आप स्टूडेंट के सामने पेशेंट की इज्जत नहीं करेंगे, आप स्टूडेंट के सामने पेशेंट को कंपैशन नहीं दिखाएं, तो फिर आप उनको एथिक्स के लेक्चर देते रहिए, कंपैशन के लेक्चर देते रहिए, जो करते रहिए, कुछ भी नहीं होगा. तो ये याद रखना चाहिए जो महात्मा गांधी ने. बस आपका धन्यवाद और शुक्रिया.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, you are really a torch bearer for all of us. And your presence amongst us can motivate our medical students and the medical faculty to strive hard and try to follow the path of excellence that you have laid. I am sure that your address shall be cherished by all of us for a very long time. Each word of yours was like legend in this field. I hope and pray that you shall find more time in the near future for further interaction with our medical students and faculty. Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Thank you very much.
Here had a memorable experience listening to you. I now request Professor Narendra Krishnani to please present a memento of appreciation to Professor Vinay Kumar. Sir, please do the honors. Are requested to be ready with their posters, which are displayed in the dissection hall anatomy at 1 p.m. for evaluation.